Holly Thompson here. We are back in the Summit, and I'm going to be taking you through a complete tour of a Chelsea Plan 81 single story. So it's a 3-bedroom, 1,656 square foot home built in 1986 in the Summit, and we're going to look at every inch. We're going to take a look at what you can do with the property, what I've seen done with the property, and all kinds of neat things. But it has a beautiful view and great bones, so let's go take a look. Okay, so the Valencia Summit has 4 different tracks. It's the Stratford townhomes, the San Marinos, the Chelseas, which are these homes because they have the siding. You can always kind of has that New England look. And then the Windermere's, which are the bigger homes. You can tell when a home has been built on the earlier side of the complex because they have this utility door access over here on the front of the house. Later, as they built out the rest of the Summit on the north side, they ended up adding those on the other side so you don't see them. So the Chelseas have 2 different models that are single story, but there's 2 different versions of each one. So there's the 81, which is this one. You can tell it's the 81 because it doesn't have a window right here. And then there's an 82 that does have a window right here. The 82 is a little bit bigger. The 81 and the 82 both have 2 different versions, kind of elongated one and then a shortened one. The way that you can tell if it's the elongated one is that this area right here is short. But since this is long, we're walking in, we know it's an 81, we know it's going to be the shorter middle room. Although this one does have a long garage, which is unusual. So now this is a 0 lot line, so that way that it's situated here in the Summit on many of the homes is that there's a 0 lot line, so essentially the other person's house becomes your fence line, basically. Summit does a really good job of positioning things in a way that you don't feel like you're right on top of each other. This one's got really great bones, being a single story. It has own solar and a really gorgeous view. So let's go take a look. If you like home tours like this, please be sure and give us a like and subscribe, because we do everything we can to make sure that we go into every inch of homes so that you can see things that you just aren't going to see on the MLS. And then we also do tours of the neighborhood. So like in this situation, you can go to our website, ft.², or you can just go to our YouTube channel, Your Santa Clarita, and that will give you a tour of the Summit neighborhood. So you can see the pools and the parks and the playgrounds and the tennis courts and the pickleball courts and the clubhouse. So we also do tours on what we do to get homes ready to sell afterwards. So after they've sold, we go through and tell you what we did to get it to the point where it got great offers or whatever the situation is. Okay, so walking in, the telltale sign of an 81 is the fireplace that's right in the front. It kind of acts as a room divider between the bedrooms, which are down these 2 hallways, and then also the living space. So here's your living area here. Nice big windows out to the beautiful view. I'll take you out there in a moment. And then you can see the fireplace here. And that's the room divider. Now, we used to have this model, and we actually took that out completely and just capped it off at the top. And we had a pony wall, don't have it anymore. We had a pony wall kind of separating the 2 spaces. So that gave us a little bit more room, and we just didn't use the fireplace, so that's what we chose to do. Taking you outside to show you this beautiful view. It's actually really quiet here. A lot of times when you have a view, you can get a lot of road noise, and I don't hear that at all. So it's so lovely. Very pretty landscaping. You could even trim this down even more and have more of a view. But we're right above McBean, so right on the other side of these trees in a complex of townhomes, Las Ventanas. There's Granary Square over there. So you're super close to restaurants, thermal horizons for your yoga and wellness and all of that. And then of course there's Vargo Physical Therapy and Starbucks and Ralph's and CVS. It's all there. So now I'll take you in here in a minute. That's actually the primary bedroom, but you can see it has a nice little patio space there. Home was painted probably 2 or 3 years ago, so that's helpful. I noticed with the Chelseas that they really do need to be painted about every 7 to 10 years, depending on how they're situated and how much exposure they get. But there's a lot of wood trim, and then this is actually concrete siding, and then we have concrete tile roofs on top. So they're pretty fire friendly, and but they do require a little bit more maintenance because you have to take care of the wood and paint on the concrete. Coming back in the home, you've got the mirrors here. Hello. And here's the dining room. So the dining room area is probably about, I would say 11 by 11. It looks out to the front yard. It's really pretty. And then there's the kitchen right behind us. So coming into the kitchen, this is, like I said, good bones. So anyway, I'm sure somebody will probably want to update that. But if you just wanted to paint the cabinets, those are all solid wood cabinets. So that's something that you could do. And then there's a little eat-in kitchen here. Now we used to have this model and we actually pushed that whole room out and made it into a family room. And that was super fun because by doing that, we were able to push this back and have a butler's pantry, a little desk area, kind of home command center, something that I desperately needed as the mom of 3 kids. It was lovely. So actually, I do have to say, when we bought this model years ago, the previous owner had actually pushed that back and made this great big living room, dining room area, and then also an additional office. That window was not there. It was actually a double door into an office there, and that was awesome. Going into the primary bedroom, got nice high ceilings, nice window and sliding glass doors out to the backyard. You can see this is where your little patio area is, and then area for your dresser or TV or whatever you might need. You're gonna see this is the original. Like these were the original tiles, which apparently are coming back in style from what I've been told, but I'm not the one that keeps up on all of that. So when we had this house, we actually lived with that tile for a long time. And we changed out the countertops only to sell it. Can you believe that? We had this tile like this for the longest time, and then when it was time to sell, I knew what I had to do. So we went in and took out this upper area here, changed out the cabinets, or actually we just painted the cabinets, changed out the countertops, did all of that. Here's a little walk-in closet. So surprisingly, this tub is actually very comfortable. Since we were going to renovate it and take it out and everything, and so many people told us, you would be surprised, that's actually a really comfy tub. So it's a nice one. We did have all of these chrome plated silver though, so we changed out all of that to be brushed nickel or whatever, and then we had the handles. We took them off and took them to a place in the valley, and they did like a brushed nickel plating over it, so that was fun. Okay, going into the back, we've got the secondary bedrooms are back here. I've never seen a door on this entryway. I think that's clever, I guess. But anyway, there's a door here. I never had one. I don't think that I've ever seen one like that. You've got a closet here. This is a bigger closet than normal. If you have the bigger room here, so there's a version that has a room that's even bigger than this. If you had the room that's bigger here, you would have a smaller closet here because the closet actually becomes the bedroom's closet right here, if that makes sense. So this was the option to have it be the 3rd bedroom or a den. And at some point, somebody obviously was just using it as a den. Carrie has it staged as a bedroom so that she can just show that it is a bedroom, and then she has the floor plan here to be able to show what it looks like and how it would lay out. So you've got indoor laundry, so no going to your garage for laundry. That's always nice. Extra storage there. Got a powder room here. It's a decent size. I've always wondered, like, what would happen if we reconfigured and made this smaller and then made your laundry room bigger? Kind of curious. Now, if you've seen our tours before, we just had one on, let's see, that was on Bellis. And they actually, instead of going into the garage right here, they had staircases that went upstairs and went into a loft. But let me show you the garage in this one, because it's actually really long. It's not a typical 2-car garage. And that's what's nice about the Chelseas, is that you get a lot of variance in the garages depending on how the lot was. But you can see if these were staircases that went up here, you can see the space that you have, and these guys are using it as storage. So there's a pull down ladder right there. and you can go up and use it. It's all reinforced with plywood and everything, and you put all of your holiday decorations, whatever you might have up there. And then this is all a very long garage. So I mean, typically a regular car is only going to take up about this much space, and then you still have this whole area here for that. They have a little room for the furnace and the hot water heater. I thought that was sweet. But anyway, this is always a nice surprise when you find a nice long garage in a Chelsea. The bathroom has been redone at some point. So obviously this used to be a tub and had an older countertop, kind of those same ones that you saw in the primary bedroom. And now this one has been changed out so that it is a walk-in shower, and the countertops have been updated. And then of course they took out that bank of lights there, so that's nice. Linen storage here, and then this is always my favorite room in the house. I love the high ceilings and looking out to the front of the house. It's a good size too. It's probably about, I know how long it is because I measured it for my kids. It was a 14 feet this way, I believe, and 11 or 12 this way, or 11, sorry, this way. So it's a nice size room. It's on the cul-de-sac in the Summit. The Summit is super close to everything. You're right close to the freeways, but without the freeway noise or anything like that. You've got all the restaurants and Whole Foods right there. You've got the Summit Park, so there's trails that go all up and down the hills, winding around the Summit Park. That's great. The schools for this home are Meadows Elementary, Placerita Junior High, and Hart High School. Meadows is definitely very close. Placerita and Hart, you probably would jump in a car to get over to it. Although I know many kids have from the Summit and walk or ride their bikes or whatever. So there's not paseos per se in the Summit, but there are a lot of walking trails, and then they lead to the paseos. So no Mellorees in this neighborhood, and the HOA at time of filming is $96 a month. So that's very good considering all of the extra maintenance and the pools and all of that they have. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, make sure that you give us a call. If I missed anything, let me know. I'll come back and take care of that. But anyway, be sure and check out YourSantaClarita.com and also our Your Santa Clarita YouTube channel, because we have all kinds of tours, neighborhood tours, home tours, tours on how we get homes set up to sell them from top dollar. We do everything we can to try and educate you so that you have resources, but the best thing is if you just call us and tell us that you want help, and we will walk you through, we'll answer any questions that you might have and help you get there. Okay, have a great day.